Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Well, we may be in a crypto bear market, but I'll tell you this, XRP sure as hell disagrees with that. You've all been paying attention to this, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. This is what everybody's talking about in crypto. XRP, just a hair shy of hitting 50 cents. It's up about 20% in the last 24 hours. It's up about 50%, yes, 50% in the last 7 days. And so there's no shortage of speculation as to what's causing this. So we can dive in a little bit into that. It's always fun to share ideas in terms of what's actually triggering this. Also, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse was interviewed today on Fox Business Network, and he was directly asked, just earlier today, as the price of XRP was rocketing upward, he was asked why he thought that the price of XRP is moving to the upside, and he provided an answer. So plenty to talk about here, but before going any further, I do want to be clear that I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, if you've been paying attention, or if you happen to have even caught some of my videos where I was talking about price over the last several days or so, I noted that something was happening that I don't normally see. What that was is a lot of the analysts that I follow were all saying, guys, based on the information that I'm reading here in the charts, and they were independently coming to their own conclusions, like a lot of them were saying XRP was about to jump up in price. Now, mind you, a week ago, XRP was right at about 32 cents, now just barely shy of 50 cents. So that is a notable jump up, obviously. That's rather substantial. And there's no shortage of analysts that I follow that were saying, hey, you can expect this. Now, as far as how high this is going to go, they do disagree on that a bit. Some of them, as you'll see as I get a little bit later in the video, talking maybe 50 cents. That's a psychological level anyway, so it made sense for that to maybe be a point where maybe XRP will pull back. Now, we're already knocking up against that, and we didn't see a dramatic pullment back down. It just barely pulled back by maybe even less than a penny, somewhere thereabout anyway. There are other analysts, though, that cite levels to watch, including there's one analyst, Crypto Caesar. I caught something he was saying. He said, an important resistance level would be 57 cents, but after that, there isn't any real resistance until he's saying like 85 or 86 cents. And so he thinks it's plausible that in the short term, we could be back up in that range. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but just the fact that all of these analysts were saying some very similar things, and it was all positive, specifically about XRP and not about other cryptos, that really caught my attention. So if you caught my videos over the last several days where I was talking about that, it's fun to see that this happened. It shouldn't be a surprise. It wasn't a guarantee, but in terms of probability, that's what they all thought. It came to pass. And so now we're sitting here looking at this, and all the Bitcoin maxi trolls are just in stunned disbelief over this, and they're a little bit sour and salty because Bitcoin not doing so hot over the last week, and most of crypto hasn't. So as I record this, XRP is at 48.6 cents. Bitcoin's at $19,244. Market cap for the asset class, $963 billion, and Bitcoin dominance at 38.28%. So just moving sideways, basically. And then you got the Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 20 out of 100. So market participants are staying in the same place, but I don't think that most XRP holders are feeling that extreme fear today. I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if they're more on like the greed side at this point. But yeah, 20 out of 100, man. It's just fun to see this, isn't it? So what's actually happening here? Well, first of all, I actually want to point this out too. And I did mention this, I can't remember how many days ago, but I pointed out that the XRP chart was like a mirror image of XLM. Both charts looked exactly the same. And that's still true. In fact, here, take a look at, this is a 7-day chart for XRP here, and here's a 7-day chart for Stellar. So in terms of when the moves happen, my gosh, here, I'll just keep flipping back and forth for those of you that care to look at your screen. You can see in terms of percentage increase, it was obviously a lot greater for XRP than XLM, but in terms of the movements, they're like the damn same. And so it's what's interesting here is whatever the reason is, and I'm happy to speculate that in just a moment, but whatever the reason is that XRP started moving, it looks like XLM came along for the ride because it's literally a clone of XRP. The open source XRP ledger code was copied by Jed McCaleb and modified to some degree and launched ultimately. And so as a result of that, since the beginning of time, there's no shortage of instances where these two cryptocurrencies seem to have higher correlation among one another than even just the broader crypto market. So that's actually not that crazy. I mean, it doesn't make sense that XLM should go up just because it's not based on fundamentals, but in that sense, I can understand why people are speculating in this particular manner, at least. So again, here, as I stated earlier in the video, XRP up, it's now up a little over 20%, 20.45% within the last 24 hours. And 7-day, if you look at over the last 7 days, 49.63% increase in price. You're not seeing this in any other large cap coin. Nothing even close to this. So, I mean, we are seeing a little bit of green in crypto just over the last several hours or so. It's like Bitcoin's up. What is Bitcoin up now? In the last 24 hours, 3.73%. Yeah, so we started to see a little bit more green here. But XLM, even though moving in tandem, returns nowhere near as impressive. 24 hours, the last 24 hours, it's up 10.67%. Over the last 7 days, it's up 20.98%. So nothing to sneeze at, but I'm just saying, it's pretty clear that Stellar's not just the copycat in terms of code, but also in terms of price movement over this recent time period. But that's fine. I mean, I hold that. I hold XLM. I've held it since November 2017. Would love to see it do well, and right now it is. So that's fantastic. I'm not complaining. But what's actually causing this? Well, look, most of the time when you see these big movements, there's nothing to it. It's just cryptos pop off at various times for no damn reason. I'm not saying it's always the case that there's no reason, but most of the time, in my estimation, it's just people start moving money, and then some people start copying what others are doing, and then if enough people take note, then there you go. A coin, even though the whole asset class moves in tandem, individual coins can pop off. This has happened for XRP for the last decade, and every other coin. So that part shouldn't be surprising. But a lot of people are speculating that it's actually primarily due to the motions for summary judgment, which were filed this past Saturday, and I covered those in depth, so I'm not going to talk in depth about the content of them in this particular video, not in depth anyway. But worth noting, the reason people are speculating on this is because in those motions for summary judgment, it looks like a decisive win is in store for Ripple. It seems that the market, if that's the reason, that would be why people are speculating on this. Because when you look through the facts and the circumstances, and now we see that this is like the totality, effectively, of what Ripple is arguing. Like, this is what the judge is to consider to determine, summary judgment, how that plays out. And now that we see that, it's reasonable to speculate that that could have had a major impact. And it looks so good in terms of what Ripple's arguing that it looks like XRP is going to come out in the clear. That's perfectly reasonable to speculate. The only reason I'm not 100% sure about that is because the timing isn't quite perfect. So, like I cited, the motions for summary judgment were this past Saturday, which I believe was the 17th, and it was a little bit later in the day. So, or maybe it was earlier. Actually, I don't remember that for sure. But so XRP was hovering around, call it 35 cents, something like that, and there was a bit of a jump up. But then it just went sideways for days. It actually went down a little bit, back down to like 34.5 cents. It wasn't until very recently that we saw some more substantial moves, especially today and yesterday, fair enough to say. But if it really is the case that it was because of the motions for summary judgment, it's just because it was a big documents from the SEC and Ripple, and people just needed time to digest it. That's not the wackiest thing I've ever heard. Maybe that's the case. I'm just saying that normally if there's a news event that's going to cause something, then usually once the news comes out, if it was completely unexpected, then it's just like a snap of a finger, market responds, and then it goes. Here, I mean, look at the chart. This is a 7-day chart. It took days to respond, if that's actually what the catalyst was. But again, like I said, since it's a big-ass document, maybe it took time to sink in, and then maybe rumors to circulate and this and that. It's plausible. But, in terms of, what this, even if that is it, like, consider this. Like when we saw what happened with remember the Kick Interactive case with their KIN token, that thing, after they got clarity, and that was, I believe, October of 2020. It ended up increasing by over 2,000%, but it doesn't mean it happened in a day. It happened over a long period of time. I don't have that pulled up for the purposes of this video, but pulling from memory, like it went up dramatically, and then it went down a bit, and then it went way, way, way more up, and I think it happened over a span of months, if memory serves. So, you know, even if XRP is going to rocket, you might expect something like that. So if this is something and it's based on, even though we don't have that sort of clarity yet, if this is a result of that, you know, assumption that things are going to go really well for Ripple and XRP in court, it could just be, even though we're still leading up this and we don't know exactly what's going to happen, it's going to take some time, it could keep, in theory, going up to some degree. But again, even if so, nothing goes up in a straight line forever. Eventually, there is actually going to be a pullback. Take a look at this. There's this headline from You Today titled, "If Ripple wins against SEC, entire crypto industry goes parabolic." David Gokhshtein. I don't know for sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but check this out. David Gokhshtein, founder of Gokhshtein Media and former U.S. congressional candidate, has taken to Twitter to share his thoughts on the impact that a possible Ripple victory in court over the SEC may have on the entire crypto industry. Should the crypto company win, it will inspire the whole space to skyrocket, he says. And so here's the actual tweet. He said, "If Ripple wins the case, the entire industry goes parabolic." Ooh, okay, big claim. I don't think it's a bonkers thing to say. I'm a bit skeptical of that. I mean, here's why. Again, so going back to the Kin token, when it got clarity, the rest of the world of crypto didn't respond like it did. Now, that being said, that was a small coin. That's a small cap crypto. This might be different. Maybe it's the case that the whole market would respond. It's not. I don't think it's crazy at all. But there's no precedent for this. That's why it's hard for me to be like, yes, no, yes, no. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. But, you know, it's one of the largest cryptos on the entire planet. Everybody, even the XRP haters and the Ripple haters, are paying attention to this. So it's possible, but even if the industry goes up, will everything go parabolic? Well, my anticipation is that the money's going to flow into XRP. That's where the money's going to flow, you know, instantly. So even if the rest of crypto gets a bump, I don't think it's going to be anything like what you'd see from XRP. Like XRP, my gosh. At that point, legal clarity, and the SEC, especially if it's settlement, the SEC can't go after them ever again. Like, I think that Ripple takes the bulk at that point. And again, not that it would go up in a straight line forever. Maybe we'd have to see stuff play out over some number of months. And then there's also the wild card of, are we going to be in a bear market still when this happens? And then what's the impact there? I still think you'll see enthusiasm either way, but kind of tough to say. Now, as far as Brad Garlinghouse, I think I had this pulled up here. Shout out and credit to @coining203. He didn't share this. I just came across this in Twitter, but I always like to give credit where it's due if I'm going to cite, especially if I'm going to cite something like this. @coining203 shared this clip of Brad Garlinghouse on Fox Business from earlier today, and he's speaking with Liz Clayman and Charles Gasparino. And Liz Clayman said, "Hey, XRP is jumping up in price right now. What do you think's causing this?" And he thought that a primary driver actually is, he seemed to feel fairly confident about this, that it was that people had some time to let the motions for summary judgment sink in and kind of analyze that. And then more and more people are like, it looks like this is going to be a winner. And so people started putting money in now in anticipation of whether it's settlement or a summary judgment in favor of Ripple and XRP holders ultimately. That he thinks that that's probably a factor. And again, so like it's not wacky. I can't say definitively, but you know, in particular, because like I said, the timing doesn't perfectly line up, but I can't help but wonder if that's a factor. I mean, it was, you know, it's 5 days ago. It's not crazy to think that this could have done it. And then it's a big document. Brad could be right on this. So I don't know. You guys tell me. I would love to hear what you think. Now, Leb Crypto, chart analyst Leb Crypto, shared the chart that's on your screen, and this morning he wrote the following. And he, by the way, he is one of the analysts that called for this move to the upside, which, of course, you know, days ago, before we were anywhere near this, it always seems impossible because people start to get emotionally beat down when XRP goes down or just trades sideways for months on end or longer sometimes. it starts to feel impossible that something like this can ever happen, but inevitably it does. So this isn't the first time something like this has happened. It won't be the last. I still firmly believe at some point we'll see a new all-time high for XRP and hit price discovery. I don't pretend to know when, but I just think that XRP is going to stick around because it's useful, and the asset class is just going to get way, way, way bigger. So it would be weird to me if that never happened. But here's what Love Crypto said. I would be very careful of taking swing positions here, as I think short-term upside is limited to 50 cents. Stay vigilant. These are not bullish market conditions. Hashtag XRP. So fair enough. It is what it is. He called this. He was one of the many analysts that was saying, hey, we're going to get up to roughly this range. And now he's just warning, could be a pullback. So we'll see it doesn't mean there will be, but we'll see there. Because like I said, there's some analysts that do think we're going to see continuation to the upside. They think that's probable. In fact, even if we do see a short-term pullback here for a day or two or three or whatever it is, some still think that we're going to see that move to the upside. So we'll just keep watching this. But, given how beat up our community is and XRP holders have been, thanks to the SEC and the toxic Bitcoin maxi trolls and all that crap, I hope that all of you out there listening are just having some fun with this, because I know it's not the $2 that we saw in April of last year. I know it's not a new all-time high, but it's okay to be excited and enjoy the good days like this. I think it's fun to see this stuff. And it's fun to speculate on what's causing this and think how high might it go and what might it be worth in the future. You all deserve it. Have fun with it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What's your speculation on what caused this? How high is this going to go? I'd love to hear from you, but I'll wrap up here. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.